On this episode of Travels with Bill, we're in Brandon, Manitoba to check out some Halloween decorations and to give away some prizes, so stay tuned. If you're driving by during the day and you see a whole yard of dead inflatables, Halloween must be just around the corner. We'll be back to this one once it's dark to show you an amazing display. Everywhere you look in Brandon, there are houses with decorations. Some are simple and cute, like this one on 1st Street near Victoria Avenue, but of course there are some that go all out. We'll start by making our way across the city. This is on Crescent. Of course, it's a favorite house. It's been here for a few years. It's a little different each year, but people are always happy to drop by. The 3 ghosts waiting to welcome you, but the whole yard is decorated as well, including a string going over the top to make sure that somebody's flying on by. I like Dracula on the top of the house. He makes sure to say hello, but imagine being that child that's being hung upside down. Oh, no wonder they look like they're screaming a little bit. We're visiting Brandon in early October, so you have time to be inspired by what you see and either create your own or make plans to come visit the ones you see here. But it wouldn't be Halloween without something to take home, would it? So in this very special episode of Travels with Bill, we're giving out some Halloween prizes. And getting one for yourself is super simple. I want you to share your thoughts on these houses or tell us about a house you know that's also amazing. Do it right below the video in the comments section. Then, right before Halloween 2021, we'll pick some of the people who left comments to win a special Travels with Bill Halloween pack that we'll send to you by mail. We'll also make sure to put the rough addresses of where you can find these houses in Brandon in case you want to make sure you drop by on Halloween to try a little trick-or-treating, if you dare. Hopefully you don't end up hanging upside down and screaming. Just down the road from that first house is this one. It's also in the Halloween mood with a dragon there and a scary ghoul waiting for you as well. Crescent, one of the coolest places to stop, of course. Oh, the trees look so amazing yet too. Those leaves will be gone by the time Halloween rolls around, but right now they look nice. Let's head off to the 400th block of 4th Street. If you're visiting Brandon, you might find Google Maps is the easiest way to find these houses. It's actually fairly easy to see them all in about an hour of driving around. This one is probably the most intricately designed of all the ones we're dropping by in this episode. There's a lot of reading here. The signs tell you about what's going on in the scenes and help scare you a little more. If you're coming here in the dark, it might be worth bringing a flashlight to help you see them all. If it was me, I'd add a fog machine to make it even spookier. But then again, I'm addicted to fog machines. I probably shouldn't tell this story, but there was this time I hosted a Halloween event in Winkler as sort of a way to show them how Halloween is done. And I had 5 fog machines. You see, with just one, there really isn't enough fog. But with 5, and a still night, well, it's enough to get the police out. Literally. As it turns out, my little fog display was drifting across town, including right across Main Street. And that got the attention of the Winkler Police Department to see exactly what was going on. They took it really well, though, especially when I promised it was just for Halloween. And boy, did we see a crazy amount of kids that night, too. They couldn't stop dropping by to see the fog and, of course, get some candy. We were in Brandon in October to film a couple other episodes of Travels with Bill that you'll be seeing later on, but of course Halloween's probably the most important thing right now. In a moment we'll take a walk up the walkway here so you can see exactly what to expect if you're brave enough to go in for candy on Halloween. As you can imagine, nobody would decorate their houses like this if they didn't expect you to drop by, and you shouldn't feel bad about it because they're of course wanting as many people as possible to show up and visit. You could be one of those people just by dropping by and daring to knock on the door on Halloween night. COVID's still go a little bit in 2021, so they are asking that you don't spend a lot of time at houses. Go get your candy and then move on. Do you like fishing? Well, somebody did, and that fish has been left to hang a little bit too long, hasn't it? One of the neatest parts of this whole one is the whole sign we're about to show you, asking if you're tall enough to get in the coffin. Well, have you seen your house yet? We've got a few more to show you. And if we featured your house, get in touch with us here at Travels with Bill. We can make sure you get one of those Halloween packs. But of course, you can get one too. Just leave a comment telling us the best houses you know of, and we'll be picking winners right before Halloween. It does leave me to wonder a little bit what it's like to be a neighbor of one of these houses, though. It's kind of amazing. Did you check out the spiders on the side of the house? They go all the way around the house too, so if you are the next door neighbor, you get treated to man-eating sized spiders pretty much for months in the fall time. Look up in the trees here, you'll see a couple of goblins flying by as well, and that completes our look here at the 400th block of 4th. So we move on again. This time we're in the 1200th block of 7th Street in downtown Brandon. This one's still being set up. Now, if you look really close, you'll actually see them doing a little work here as they're adding some things to the display. Now, I did stop and talk to them for quite a while. She's a little behind this year. She normally starts on the 1st of September and has it done pretty quick, but she hasn't been feeling well the last couple weeks, so the display got a little bit behind. That means on the day of our visit, it wasn't completely finished, and she wants to make sure you know it will be even better by the time you get there for Halloween. It's a pretty cool display though. There's a trough over there you're going to see in a minute with some teeth that'll chomp you up. It's amazing. As I was talking to the homeowner here, she started to mention that her neighbor was complaining, and I of course thought, well, I can understand why they might be complaining, but then she said it was actually the other way around. See, this goes up in September, and then the question becomes in January, is it nice enough to take it down? If it's a nice day, it comes down. Otherwise, it stays up until May. So you can see this display quite a while. Well, as it turns out, it was kind of nice in January, so the display did come down. That's what made the neighbor complain. The display going away because all the kids were going to miss it. There's that stock trough. That is one of the best ideas I've ever seen. If you have an old stock trough around, do a little bit of painting, put some teeth on it, and it looks super scary. Now there were some more window treatments to come here. In fact, if you see the background, some of them are on the ground just about to get put up. But this is a very cool house. Last year, she said she had about 150 kids show up for candy. Of course, there was COVID last year, so that may have slowed it down a bit. But there's lots of opportunity to drop by and get yourself some candy at this house, just like all the other ones we're showing you on this episode. The caged babies that we're about to see is the new addition for this year, and something they're really quite proud of. And it looks horrifying to see dolls looking like that. Well, some of these things are maybe even too scary for little kids, but certainly teenagers will be right at home here, and adults will love it too. And if you've got the little guys, it's Halloween. I'm sure they'll get over it if they get enough candy. The last few years, I have to admit, my decorating hasn't been anywhere near up to the standards we're seeing at these places. Usually I just decorate the day of, run it for a few hours with a couple blow-ups, some fog, give out some candy, and then I'm done for the night. This kind of puts me to shame. If you spend a little time looking, these are those fancy pictures that look good one way and look like death the other way. They're kind of scary at night too. Well, it seems like the blow-ups are still dead, but we will come back to this once it's dark so you can see how amazing it looks too. So we're moving now to the 1200th block of 6th Street. That's not too far away from the house we were just at. Really is just around the corner. Lots of blow-ups to show you on this one, and I have to admit, the people here are a little bit shy too. You notice the kitchen windows open, and if you look really close, you can see somebody in there watching us film. Well, it didn't take too long until they got extra shy and came and closed that window up, so they weren't featured quite as much on this episode of Travels with Bill. That doesn't detract from the house at all, though. They've got some really cool blow-ups. I love that little patch of pumpkins. They look cool. Of course, they're right beside the Thanksgiving Day turkey. We're filming this just a couple days before Thanksgiving, so the turkey is extra appropriate. Though if I was him, I'd be a little worried that I might be becoming supper. A lot of years there's some really neat haunted houses on the go in many communities as well, but as you can imagine with COVID the last little while, that has been a lot tougher to accomplish. So going from house to house like this and seeing the outdoor decorations, certainly a safer way to make sure you're not around people too much and, breathing other people's air, I suppose. But it's really cool to see the originality of each individual person too, and just the things they come up with. Uh-oh, that witch has been going way too fast when she hit the ground. She's buried right in there. These neat little skulls we're going to see in a second too, are pretty cool. We've got a pumpkin with a cat. But here, come on, let's lower the camera down and we'll show you the little border here because it is really cool. Look at those guys. Their eyes are popping out. They're all lit up and making sure they look just right at you. Well, this house is very cool. I kind of like the blow-ups. I know some people aren't into blow-ups as much, but I've always thought blow-ups look especially great at night, though they're good here too. In the middle of the daytime, you can see them perfectly well. I wonder a bit if sometimes one neighbor inspires the other one, because just a couple houses down from here, there is another house you could take a peek at, and it looks really cool too. So staying in the 1200 block for a moment, here's that neighbor's house. Now this is kind of more classic. See the spiders on the trees, and they're creepy crawly, aren't they? They've got some of those neat pumpkins too. I may have to look into exactly where they're getting those, because those are pretty cool pumpkins. I wouldn't mind having some of them at home. And in the tree here as well, a couple more decorations to make it look incredible. Well, if you haven't got yours up yet, there's still time. Even if you only put up decorations a day or two before Halloween, everybody will still enjoy them. It's starting to get dark. That must mean it's almost time to go check out that field of dead blow-ups. I wonder if they're finally ready. Oh, and as it turns out, they are ready. This house is on Lyndale Drive. That's just south of Shoppers Mall. You'll see it from Highway 10. That's 18th Street. But you'll need to take the road to the east side, which is the actual Lyndale Drive, and do a bit of walking to get here, because there isn't a lot of room for parking. But check out how amazing it looks at night. Blow-ups sparkle like nothing else when it's dark. As you can imagine, a display like this is a labor of love. This guy is brand new. In fact, on the day of our visit, this was freshly installed. It just got put in that day. It's a ginormous blow-up pumpkin. Here's the front door. If you make it that far for trick-or-treating, well, there's a little dog in there. He'll say hi to you, but he's friendly, don't worry. I talked to the owner, because you know me. Of course, if I'm going to walk around in your yard at dark, I might actually come and ask permission first. But we had a great visit about this. He says it takes about 5 hours to put these all up. And of course, it's been happening for years. Every year he's adding a little bit more to the display, so it keeps getting bigger and bigger. Halloween's not his only thing either, though. He loves his blow-ups for Christmas, so if you happen to be in Brandon during the Christmas season, this is a good place to check out and see if you find a whole lot of blow-ups that look a whole lot more like Christmas. These ones, though, are cool. I've never even seen most of these blow-ups in the stores, but I guess if you've been collecting for a few years, that would explain why they're not all as familiar to me. From the cute little witches there to all of the different pumpkins and ghosts and goblins, it's pretty cool. Now you'll see occasionally I trip a little bit. It's really not recommended to walk around in here. If you come trick-or-treating, you just go up the driveway to the house. You don't go through the blow-ups, because there's strings everywhere to hold these guys in place. And in the middle of the dark, as I'm trying to walk through here with the camera, well, yeah, I'm kind of tripping on some of those strings, but didn't do any permanent damage, I hope, as I wandered on through. I wanted to get you as many close-ups as we could, though, because you can't really get this close when you come yourself. There's some ghosts hiding in the background. There's even some stuff in the trees. We saw that picture earlier on when the blow-ups were all deflated, and once you see them like this, it's kind of sad to see them not all puffed up. But it's worth waiting. If you do happen to pass by when they're not up yet, go back a little bit later when they've been turned on and you'll see this amazing show. Now maybe I'm a little bit biased, because as I've admitted, blow-ups are kind of my thing. And blinking blow-ups, well, that just takes it to a whole new level. But of all the yards we've seen on this episode, I would have to say this one is the best. But maybe you disagree. That is why you should be leaving a comment on the video. Tell us what you think of the houses we showed you here, and tell us about houses you think people should see. Just before Halloween 2021, we'll be picking some of the people that leave comments to win a Travels with Bill Halloween prize pack. We'll send that out to you no matter where you are. So even if you're not from Brandon, we'll gladly mail it anywhere else as well, so you too can get in on the prizing if you're viewing from afar. And if you are near Brandon, well, make sure you have some plans made to drop by and see these amazing houses while the Halloween season is still on the go. See this cat? His head even moves back and forth. That's kind of spooky if you don't expect it, and then he turns to look right at you. I'm not sure if I should mention this or not, but if you want to be a little bit more creeped out, this particular display is only steps away from the Brandon Cemetery. These guys will certainly keep the ghosts and ghouls away, at least we hope they will, while you're trick-or-treating. Look at this big arch with the ghosts on it. That's pretty cool too, and it's got some dead trees there. Well, that does it for this Halloween episode of Travels with Bill. Hopefully you've enjoyed traveling around the Brandon area and taking a look at some of the amazing displays out there. I'm not going to pretend we got to them all because we only saw a few of the best houses here. If you didn't see your house, well, I apologize. We didn't make it out to it. We certainly tried to get as many on as we could, but tell us about your house in the comments so other people do know to get there. As you can imagine, the folks watching this are interested in houses that are decorated, so put your address in there and I'm sure lots of them will be dropping by. Hey, have you subscribed to the Travels with Bill channel yet? We'd sure appreciate it if you would. The more subscribers, the better it is for us, plus it makes you one of the first to know when we post a new video as we travel around Manitoba and Canada, sharing some of the coolest places you can see and some of the history of them as well. We'll have more from our Brandon trip on future episodes, including a look at that big fire in the 1400 block of Pacific. Plus, we'll have Brandon featured on our train week. Well, for now at least, we bid you farewell from Brandon, Manitoba. Happy Halloween, and we'll see you next time when you're traveling with Bill.